There were several beasts on the farms where weeds were growing. Many varieties of broken cars sat abandoned and ruined on the highway. Some of them were tipped over, and the dust on the highway told its history. A shadow walked on the highway. Reserve? Luo Feng walked on the shabby highway, recalling the past a long time ago when he first joined the Firehammer Squad and adventured in the wilderness. He remembered Qin Gu, who used fiery weapons, who was very friendly to him. He remembered Zhang Ku, who lost his arm. The Wei brothers, who were skilled with a scimitar, and of course, that Captain Gao who was powerful with hammers. It's been more than 100,000 years. Luo Feng shook his head and smiled. Those were the brothers who had endured troubles with him before. However, Luo Feng had been adventuring through the universe, and he didn't even have time to see his family members. As for those old friends, he had only seen them a few times. Luo's family had been secretly helping those old friends without affecting their lives. Time was cruel, however, and more than half of Luo Feng's friends had died. Although Luo Feng's family had infinite wealth, it still had control over resources. The family would help their old friends, but they wouldn't improve their friends' power to at universe level or domain lord level. There were still many reserves on Earth, which were remains from the era of Headquarter City. Some of the beasts were protected as endangered animals. Those animals were allowed to live in the reserves, on the cracked highways, in rolled-over cars. Ruined buildings in the reserves were renovated. New material was applied, material that could last for a long time. The surface was deliberately made to look ancient. After all, the concrete used before was not likely to be maintained. Tourists had to view them from spaceships in the sky. The areas could not be trespassed, and the beasts inside were off limits. As for Luo Feng, he went in via teleportation. He had the highest access authority to the entire defense system of Earth, so he could get in without any problem. So, Luo Feng jumped up to the balcony on the 6th floor. He looked down. He could hear faint, beastly roars as he looked at the moon. Just like before, whispered Luo Feng. He frowned. Ha! Shwa! He disappeared from the balcony. In a sky around 800 light-years away from Earth was a group of towering, resplendent palaces. Powerful guards walked within the palaces. Sector Lord guards and even undying servants were walking through corridors that were tens of millions of miles long. These were Luo Feng's godly palaces. Inside the tallest main palace, fires burned around 12 gigantic pillars. Suddenly, a giant being showed up on the throne. It was Luo Feng's 6,000-mile-tall body. He looked down at the three beings. Three beings bowed at the same time. Milky Way Horde Leader. Ganwu, Guangzhou, North Larva. Luo Feng smiled and looked down. You've done a great job. All of them had dealt with the issues he had asked them to do, and they had finished today. Of course, he needed to meet with the three of them. There was much more he needed these 3 Universe Knights to help him with. It's our honor to serve Horde Leader, said Guangzhou as he raised his head, followed by Ganwu Country Master and North Larva Knight. Luo Feng smiled and nodded. From now on, you'll be in charge of everything here. You can connect to the virtual universe if you need me, or you can crush your keepsake. Yes. 3 Universe Knights bowed. Luo Feng nodded and said, You may go now. The 3 Universe Knights bowed and left the palace. Luo Feng was 6,000 miles tall. He put his hands on the armrests, and raised his head to look at the towering godly palace 6 million miles tall. Even for Luo Feng, the godly palace felt like an endless sky. The godly palaces are all so large, whispered Luo Feng. Okay. I've been studying the 2nd level of Star Tower. However, I still haven't fully completed the 2nd level of Shiwu Wings, which is inferior to Star Tower. I'll spend my time on Earth studying the Shiwu Wings. Luo Feng disappeared. He could arrive at Earth within 1 teleportation, as Earth was less than 1,000 light-years away from his godly palaces. As for the 3 Universe Knights, Undying Guards, and Sector Lord Guards and servants, they had been arranged by the Virtual Universe Company. Generally, a Universe Master would select some Universe Knights as their disciples. There were only a few Universe Masters within the human race, most of whom were reluctant to take disciples, so most Universe Knights could be disciples of Universe Masters. Primal Chaos City Leader wanted Luo Feng to take disciples. Luo Feng, however, not only needed to train himself but also hadn't reached the Universe Master level at Law Comprehension. That was why he hadn't taken any disciples. Instead, he had chosen 3 Universe Knights to deal with his issues. Those Universe Knights who worked for Luo Feng directly had Luo Feng as a connection now. Those with connections were on a totally different level than those who didn't have them. Luo Feng firstly chose Ganwu Country Master and Guangzhou Knight, who were close to him. Then Ganwu Country Master had recommended North Larva Knight, who was his friend. Thus, these three Universe Knights were under Luo Feng now. Ganwu Country Master would never find himself in an embarrassing situation with Luo Feng as his connection. Ganwu, I can go to Horde Leader only because of you, said North Larva Knight. I can't even repay you. North Larva, we're best friends, said Ganwu Country Master, and you've helped me lots of times. This is nothing. Ganwu Country Master, Guangzhou Knight, and North Larva Knight had turned the tables around now. Having connection set them apart. They were bestowed with one ordinary true treasure each when Luo Feng admitted them. It was enough to make other Universe Knights jealous. Luo Feng made a portal connecting his god country with Earth. He was able to quickly go back to his god country from Earth, and to arrive back at Earth from his god country. With that path, even space shock. 12 years passed. Haha! Sure, Wu Wing is more complicated than I thought, said Luo Feng. I've spent 12 years, and I've finally fully comprehended the second form. Shwa! Luo Feng teleported from his palace to a silent sky hundreds of light years away. He didn't dare try the second form of the Sure Wu Wings while on Earth. With his power, a slight trace of his Sure Wu Wings could dismantle Earth. Luo Feng stood in space, his eyes gleaming. Let me see the power of the second form of Sure Wu Wings. The four-winged Sure Wu Wings were a top-tier true treasure. The first form of the four-winged Sure Wu Wings was more powerful than the second form of the two-winged Sure Wu Wings. And the second form of the fourth wing should be more powerful than the third form of the two-winged version. The first form was called Space and Time in Disorder. But what about the second form? Qi, Qi, Qi. Endless burning power flooded Sure Wu Wings along the engraving sculptures, and the power triggered all the sculptures. Instantly, the second level of sculptures on Sure Wu Wings were completely utilized, and the silver wing immediately started to change. The wing became sharper, and golden threads appeared on it. An elegant but powerful force permeated from it. It made Sure Wu Wings stronger than ordinary top-tier true treasures. Hong! The sky was enveloped in golden light. Luo Feng stood in the sky in silence. No matter how powerful the second form of Sure Wu Wings was, Luo Feng wouldn't be overly surprised. Rather, the function of Sure Wu Wings was what thrilled him. This, Luo Feng looked around. There is a star-level strange beast on a planet 1.2 light-years away. He looked in another direction. And there's a construction team 2.9 light-years away from me, reconstructing that planet. There's a spaceship 3.8 light-years away from me. There's Sector Lord team on patrol 19.6 light-years away from me. The 80 square light-year area was entirely enveloped by the blurry golden light. This area was completely under Luo Feng's control, and he knew everything that was happening within the area. How? How come? The more Luo Feng sensed everything around him, the more thrilled he got. Even Universe Masters aren't able to control such a giant area. Suppression! Luo Feng triggered the wing, and the constraining power on the space surged. All the spaceships in this area immediately slowed down. Some stars started to tremble. If Luo Feng didn't control his power intentionally, those stars would been annihilated. Suppression! Luo Feng pointed to a star in the distance. Hong! The star, its 3 planets, and all the many asteroids held within its gravity were all annihilated under power that could kill a Universe Knight. A whole solar system vanished from existence just like that. So powerful! Luo Feng put all the suppression on himself. He could feel the incredible constraining power. It's stronger than that of Universe Masters. Luo Feng felt constraint akin to a Universe Master's control over space and time. He could tell clearly that his control over the area of 80 square light-years was more powerful than that of Universe Masters, but of course, it was still inferior to that of Universe Supreme Masters. It's more powerful than that of Universe Masters. My Sure Wu Wings! Luo Feng was overjoyed. The first form can throw time and space into disorder, and the second form can fully control space and time. The control is stronger than that of Universe Masters, and so is the range. Luo Feng narrowed the golden light. I can control the size. Impressive. He smiled. From now on, I'll have the ability to control space and time. Who will doubt that I'm a Universe Master? Haha. It was within his expectations to discover that the second form had such a function, but it was an exhilarating surprise. I'll name the second form of Sure Wu Wings, whispered Luo Feng, who was covered with golden light. Golden Country! Form 1 of Shi Wu Wings, Chaotic Time-Space. Form 2 of Shi Wu Wings, Golden Kingdom, considered an auxiliary power but very much to Luo Feng's liking. After all, the greatest difference between a universe master and him would be the ability to control time and space. For instance, hunting and fighting used to be disadvantageous for him, but that weak spot had now been remedied. A radius of 80 light years, Luo Feng said. Even a top-tier domain-type true treasure like Thousand Treasure River was not as ridiculously immense. If the second form was already so strong, I cannot imagine the third form. Luo Feng started to examine the entire Shi Wu Wings with his godly power, covering every inch of the wings. There were some sculptures with secret engravings that appeared in his mind 1,000 times clearer than what the naked eye could see. Luo Feng took one look and immediately felt some disappointment. He understood that for the moment, this was the maximum power of Shi Wu Wings, or at least, the third form of secret engravings of this deformed Shi Wu Wings was originally imperfect. Clearly, Shi Wu Wings still lacked certain components. At least, that was the case for the sculptures of secret engravings, where a part of the engravings is missing. No matter how powerful I am, it is impossible for me to activate the third form. To activate the third form, I must fulfill two requirements. Firstly, law comprehension acquired by oneself to attain a higher level of accomplishment in the studies of secret engraving. Secondly, finding the missing component of Shi Wu Wings to bring it nearer to perfection. After just one fusion, Shi Wu Wings had reached the level of a top-tier true treasure. If another fusion were to, Shi Wu Wings are indeed extraordinary, but I have no idea where I can find that missing component, Luo Feng lamented. He knew it would not be easy. Shi Wu Wings had belonged to Primal Chaos City Leader for a long time, yet even Primal Chaos City Leader was not able to discover any other components. However, he had not made use of Shi Wu Wings personally, so he would not have known. Luo Feng did use them, though. In addition, as countless great beings of the universe were gathered in the original star, Luo Feng managed to sense Tianyang Night by chance encounter, which was how he learned about the other component of Shi Wu Wings' flowing light wings. Yet, through these years, as Luo Feng went into the original stars time and time again, he did not sense anything else that was new to him. Wanting to find the next component, the level of difficulty was palpable. Yet this feels strange too. The birth of Shi Wu Wings did not take place on an original star. If it did, then the original star would clearly indicate the level of this treasure. The treasure would have been divided into several components, and its birth would have taken place according to the divided pieces. What everyone has obtained would only be components, but all would understand how precious each component was. Tianyang Knight and Teacher each received one wing, yet they did not see the greatness of this true treasure component. When Teacher first gave me his share, he said with surety that throughout the universe, he was the only one who had laid eyes on Shi Wu Wings. No second being had ever seen Shi Wu Wings before. Luo Feng said to himself. I have to ask Teacher about it again. I need to find out where exactly he found Shi Wu Wings. Luo Feng decided that he had to find the other components of Shi Wu Wings. If the power of the second form was this powerful, what would the power of the third form be like? Luo Feng was really looking forward to finding his answer. Time to head back. Shwa! Luo Feng disappeared into the sky, which was still as quiet as ever. The only problem was, at a distance away, a galaxy was missing. The years of a great being were always so long that they felt like an eternity. The majority of the time passed by peacefully. This peace, however, was spent preparing for future fights, which always seemed crazier than the preceding ones. The fights could be for their race, for power, or for oneself. I can't believe that the Disambiguation Temple is still not open by now. Luo Feng had been looking forward to the opening of the Disambiguation Temple. After all, it was a pinnacle domain-type true treasure. Only Star Tower could surpass it. The other treasures were lacking in comparison. Force armor and combat blade absolute guests were all weaker by a notch. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to obtain such a true treasure. Naturally, it evoked an overwhelming sense of competitiveness in Luo Feng. At that time, Luo Feng was also cultivating the Beast God path, which required him to study diagrams of secret engravings. So temporarily, he would be giving up on studying Star Tower, as the third level of secret engravings were shockingly complicated. This was clearly of a far higher level than all that he had studied previously. Only those who were more accomplished in the law comprehension and diagrams of secret engravings would be able to comprehend it. It was 165 years since Luo Feng first became Milky Way Horde leader. Within the Ancestral God's secret region, in an area on Redbud Island that was being enshrouded by the five-color Aurora Lake, Luo Feng stood by the railings of a pavilion and looked off into the distance, where he could see the public square in front of the palace of the island master. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at the fountain resembling a curtain and strode through it to enter the land of inheritance. A moment later, he stepped out from behind the fountain. I already know how to use the ultimate technique of a universe master, and I have the heart of Beast God, he thought. Cultivating the Beast God path can be done at godlike speed. Also, I was fortunate that there is the land of inheritance, where I could always inherit, allowing my efficiency to be maximized. Luo Feng was clear on the fact that every time he entered the land of inheritance, a large amount of energy would be consumed. That was why the land of inheritance had very stringent control over the number of times one could enter. Usually, only those who newly joined were entitled to one free inheritance. Other times, everyone had to exchange for the chance to enter and inherit from the land of inheritance. Most of the other heirs could only make an exchange once in a blue moon. However, there was a year when Luo Feng had gone crazy engaging himself in various battles, to the extent of fighting 620,000 battles. This had earned him many glory points, which could be used to exchange for many chances of entry. Usually, one would need to have acquired a new comprehension before another round of inheritance, so the sessions of energy-consuming inheritances were limited to a certain number. Luo Feng! A capacious voice rang by Luo Feng's ears and resonated in his mind. Ha! Standing by the waterfall, Luo Feng turned to look high up into the sky. Hua! A light emerged from the depths of five-color Aurora Lake that enveloped all that was beneath it. It moved to completely enshroud Luo Feng. One end of this light pillar kept Luo Feng enveloped. Looking carefully at the other end, Luo Feng saw that it was extended deep within the five-color Aurora Lake, all the way to the Ancestral God Palace. Ancestral God Palace? Luo Feng looked up and saw the colorful lights separating on their own to create a path for the light pillar to pass. Ancestral God, Luo Feng greeted. He recognized this voice. It was the voice of double-faced Ancestral God. Come to me, the voice said. Instantly, an intangible power enveloped Luo Feng. So, the force brought Luo Feng up off Red Bed Island and sent him on his way along the path of the light. Luo Feng went flying into the depths of five-color Aurora Lake in the direction of the Ancestral God Palace. At this point, Luo Feng's speed far exceeded the speed of light. Being able to reach such a speed in the primal universe was one thing obviously, only a universe supreme being was capable of such manipulation. Luo Feng did not fight this force. Given his power, he could have easily broken free from such restraint. Flying ahead, he could see the 3,000 stars, which represented 3,000 god worlds. He could also see the 72 general continents, where every continent was vast and imposing. Then he flew past Beast God Palace and the 8 Natural Beasts God Palace. Surrounding this were 16 other palaces. Arrived. Luo Feng landed on the massive, towering public square of the palace. Looking at this Ancestral God Palace from Redbud Island, the place had seemed immense and towering. Being on it, Luo Feng gained a true appreciation for how intimidating its size was. The entire palace exuded an endless, immensely strong power. This was an eye-opener even for someone like Luo Feng, who had laid eyes on various true treasures. This Ancestral God Palace must be a pinnacle flying palace true treasure, Luo Feng speculated. No other like the Ancestral God School. Even if humankind's teacher origin had yet to be suppressed, he would barely be comparable to this Ancestral God School. Luo Feng, come in. The voice was heard from within the large palace hall. Outside the hall, there were 8 guards clad in gold armor. They were all universe knights, and from the power exuded by the treasures they carried on them, their armor and weapons were true treasures. At this moment, all 8 knights were looking directly at Luo Feng. Yes, Luo Feng answered. He took a step forward and was instantly at the doorstep of the palace, where he made his way into the spacious hall. In the towering hall were many tall heavenly pillars that seemed never-ending. On every heavenly pillar was a totem engraving where the appearance of every race was engraved. There were sculptures with engravings of humans, bug soldiers, the automaton race, and there were also engravings of many other different races. Double-faced Ancestral God sat on his throne, the furthest one away. He looked toward Luo Feng and, with a smile, he asked, "According to the information that your fellow humans have openly disseminated, you have fixed your chosen name as Milky Way Horde Leader?" "Yes." Luo Feng nodded. Milky Way Horde leader Luo Feng, you have been with the Ancestral God School for some time and also joined our sub-organization, Ancestral God said. You may be Milky Way Horde leader now, but the noble universe origin has told me that you have yet to become a universe master. You are able to make use of the ultimate technique of a universe master because you had an ability of another school of study, which had appeared in the primal universe for the first time. Luo Feng was secretly taken aback. The Ancestral God School openly made it known that they were the guardians of the universe origin. Even Primal Chaos City leader and company said that the universe origin was also reciprocating and guarding over the Ancestral God School previously. He had always managed to receive inheritances one after the other. Plus, he had created a technique with the help of another school of study. It seemed the rumors of the relationship between the Ancestral God School and universe origin were not unfounded. Both sides knew everything about one another. The day you truly become a universe master will be the day you become our guarding godly master, Ancestral God said, looking at Luo Feng. Then he continued, don't overanalyze. Every guarding godly master of the Ancestral God School is a universe master with extremely strong power. Ordinary universe masters will not be able to take up such a role. Every guarding godly master will have a few universe masters under his command. Luo Feng nodded. He already knew. Sky Beacon Godly Master, 9 Remoteness Godly Master, they were legendary existences in the universe. His current capability was certainly not enough for him to become a guarding godly master and to stand at equal rank as the rest. You joined the sub-organization of our Ancestral God School such a long time ago, but have yet to receive a single mission. Ancestral God looked at Luo Feng. Now I am entrusting you with one. It does not implicate humanity, and the venue is very far away from the human domain. Are you willing to take up the mission? If it does not implicate humanity and my good friends, I would be happy to oblige, Luo Feng said. He had accepted numerous inheritances and received much kindness from Ancestral God. Earlier on, Ancestral God had even stepped forward personally to protect him from virtual real demon master. It was only right to reciprocate with his services. Hua! A golden ray flashed and stopped right before Luo Feng. It resembled a statue of a golden toad, and the eyes of the toad were dark gray. Take this with you and head over to this domain. Any life form that causes its eyes to turn red must be annihilated. Ancestral God looked down at Luo Feng. And you will also need to investigate what actually happened. The universe origin has communicated with me over there. Something is happening that bodes ill for our primal universe. Luo Feng took hold of the golden toad and looked at its pair of eyes. They would turn red? Ancestral God, when its eyes turn red, does it represent how far away the life form is that is causing the eyes to turn red? Luo Feng asked. How big is its area of surveillance? About 60 million miles, Ancestral God said. Where your life imprint is. Control it, and you can clearly sense whether the reaction you have detected is caused by an actual life form or a foreign object. If it's an actual life form, no matter who it is, you must annihilate it. If you are unwilling to kill with your own hands, transmit your findings to me, and I shall deploy some other members. This is a new transmission token. The previous one that 9 Remoteness gave you carried a lower authority. You will not be able to connect with me directly using that. With this one you can. A golden token drifted over to Luo Feng. He caught hold of it right away. Why did this golden token look so much like the transmission token that his teacher, Sitting Mountain Guest, had made? Go, Ancestral God ordered. For the sake of the noble universe origin, every life form that makes it see red has to be annihilated. Not even one can be spared. Understood. Luo Feng bowed. According to the area the Ancestral God gave me, it should be in the Yuan Ao secret region. On an arid mineral planet, a silver being broke the hard rocks. The rocks flew around, and the being already stood in space. Luo Feng looked to the sky in the distance, standing in space. This is the closest place to the Yuan Ao secret region that my slaves are able to transport to. Luo Feng nodded, then changed his godly body. The original earthling body went back to the world ring while Blood Cloud Palace leader showed up. Blood Cloud Palace leader shook his tail, and Blood Cloud Palace showed up. Go! He entered Blood Cloud Palace leader and sped up. He immediately entered the Dark Universe and started to travel quickly through the Dark Universe toward Yuan Ao's secret region. After all, he was only working for the Ancestral God School, and it was not urgent. Luo Feng wouldn't teleport, as it would be tiring to teleport continuously for more than a day. On the other hand, traveling with Blood Cloud Palace was much slower than teleportation but was still comparatively fast in the Dark Universe. Inside the primal secret region of the human territory, two beings stood near the palace of Primal Chaos City Leader. One was Primal Chaos City Leader, and the other was Hugh Jack's founder. "Chaos," said Hugh Jack's founder. "I decided to go to Universe Ocean. I might be away from the original universe for a long time. From now on, you'll be in charge of the issues in the human race." "Universe Ocean?" Primal Chaos City Leader frowned. "For a long time? For beings like Hugh Jack's founder, it would take thousands or even tens of thousands of years for training one time." This was why when Hugh Jack's founder said, "a long time," it might actually mean a long time. It might even be counted using eras. However, Primal Chaos City Leader was baffled because he didn't think it should take Hugh Jack's founder that long to venture to Universe Ocean. Primal Chaos City Leader looked to Hugh Jack's founder in shock. "Is that so?" "That's right. I decided to venture to Tilted Peak Sector," Hugh Jack's founder said, revealing his true intention. "Hugh Jack's," said Primal Chaos City Leader. "Tilted Peak Sector? I got a Tilted Peak Sector remnant diagram," said Hugh Jack's founder. "With that remnant diagram, I can inspect some of the areas on that diagram, and if I get lucky, I might obtain a supreme true treasure. Even if I'm not lucky enough, I might also get a pinnacle domain type true treasure." "Remnant diagram?" said Primal Chaos City Leader joyfully. "A remnant diagram of Tilted Peak Sector?" "Yes." Hugh Jack's founder nodded with a smile. Even Primal Chaos City Leader was excited by the news. Universe Ocean was a place broader and more dangerous than the original universe. It was boundless. No great beings knew the end of Universe Ocean. Universe Supreme Masters were low-key in the original universe. In Universe Ocean, however, they were all fierce and cunning, fighting and seizing at every chance. Universe Ocean was where the most true treasures were born. Almost all the supreme true treasures came from mysterious places in Universe Ocean like Tilted Peak Sector. It was the most dangerous land of extremists in Universe Ocean, but there were all sorts of pinnacle true treasures and even supreme true treasures hidden in Tilted Peak Sector. Of course, it was extremely dangerous as well. Just the possibility of getting lost was enough to terrify Universe Supreme Masters. There were no directions in it, and it was very easy to get lost. Even Universe Supreme Masters who were able to defend themselves against all kinds of dangers might never be able to get out of Tilted Peak Sector. Even Universe Supreme Masters wouldn't dare adventure there without a map, but no complete map of Tilted Peak Sector existed. Fortunately, there were maps of some areas made by all the great beings who adventured in it, and they combined the maps of those areas into a remnant diagram. Remnant diagrams were highly valued by all the powers in the universe. The rarer a remnant diagram was, the fewer adventurers would be present in the areas depicted, which meant a higher chance of finding true treasures. One remnant diagram was priceless enough to be fought for by Universe Supreme Masters. "This is a remnant diagram of Tilted Peak Sector," said Hugh Jack's founder solemnly. "Based on what I know, there are few adventurers there. I got this remnant diagram by luck, and I have to get there as soon as possible." "Hugh Jack's, my original body will go with you," said Primal Chaos City Leader. "No," Hugh Jack's founder shook his head. "The deeper it is in Tilted Peak Sector, the more dangerous it will be. The ecstasy sound alone is able to make a universe master fall into an eternal sleep." Primal Chaos City Leader was shocked. That was right. The power hidden in Tilted Peak Sector was more terrifying than that of Universe Supreme Masters. Even if he had the clone technique, his other bodies would be affected if one of his body's souls was contaminated, at which point he would fall into an eternal sleep, which was not much different from demise. "I know all the most dangerous areas in Tilted Peak Sector," said Hugh Jack's founder. "My life won't be in danger unless I go to those areas. However, I'll strictly follow that remnant picture, and if it's incorrect, I'll go back immediately." "Okay, be careful," said Primal Chaos City Leader. "Haha, it's already very fortunate for me to get this remnant diagram, and this diagram covers a large area," said Hugh Jack's founder. "It might be made by the powers before the Grant Incarnation. I can search further using the remnant diagram, and if I'm lucky enough, I can get a supreme true treasure by spending enough time. You'll be in charge of everything now." Hua! Hugh Jack's founder disappeared. Primal Chaos City Leader stood in the sky for a long time, then nodded. "If Hugh Jack's founder can get a supreme true treasure, we humans will be more powerful." He teleported himself back to his palace. Luo Feng moved swiftly through the dark universe via Blood Cloud Palace and arrived at a secret region in a corner of the original universe in 8 days. It was Yuan Ao's secret region. Yuan Ao's secret region! Luo Feng stood in the space of Yuan Ao's secret region. He waved his hand, and the golden toad appeared. Its eyes were still gray. This must be Yuan Ao's secret region, based on the information from Ancestral God. There are 12 vast lands in Yuan Ao's secret region. The smallest has a diameter of 1 light year, and the largest has a diameter of almost 8 light years. There are many life forms of other races living on it. Luo Feng nodded. The entire secret region belongs to Yuan Ao Master. There was a significant number of life forms living in those vast lands, and it was normal that many sector lords were born in those lands. However, only a limited number of special life forms existed in one territory, and the fewer life forms there were, the more nurturing they could receive. Although there were plenty of individuals here, the number of great beings was significantly smaller than those in other territories. There are so many lives, and it's easy for undying fighters to be born, yet it's difficult for universe knights to be born, thought Luo Feng. And there are no other universe masters in Yuan Ao's secret region other than Yuan Ao Master. Besides, Yuan Ao Master is a special life form. Yuan Ao Master was a special life form with an enormous amount of power, and he roamed the universe all alone. He must have felt lonely, which may have been why he seized life forms in the universe from the weaker races. He seized hundreds of millions of individuals from different races. The most powerful one of those might only be a universe knight who didn't dare to go against a universe master. Besides, Yuan Ao Master only seized hundreds of millions of lives from trillions of life forms within a race. There were so many races in the universe, and other than pinnacle races and powerful races, there were plenty of ordinary races and weak races. Yuan Ao Master had seized life forms from 100 different races and put them in 12 vast lands for them to breed. There were more and more lives born in those lands, and Yuan Ao Master kept enlarging the lands. Now, there were zillions of individuals on those lands. There were undying fighters born in those lands, and the ordinary life forms believed in those undying fighters and followed them. Of course, there was a supreme god on those 12 lands. It was Yuan Ao's supreme god, worshipped by all in the 12 lands. Yuan Ao Master seized all those life forms, and he manipulated undying wars using the undying fighters under him, whispered Luo Feng. Ordinary life forms fight each other in those undying wars where many great beings were born. Thousands of undying fighters manipulated the undying wars, and the wars are like proving grounds. Dozens of universe knights were born in the conflicts, followed by thousands of undying fighters. Luo Feng smiled. Of course, those universe knights were useless, as he had killed more than 6,000 universe knights with one move. The real value of those universe knights was their potential to become universe masters, even one of them. Based on what Ancestral God said, something hazardous to the universe origin is happening here. Luo Feng nodded. I'll go to those lands and inspect them. After all the lives in the secret region are in those lands. So, Luo Feng teleported himself 1,000 light years away, and instantly, he had already traveled 1,000,000 light years. Suddenly, a boundless land appeared before him. It was one of the 12 lands that belonged to Yuan Ao Master. This must be Juan land.